Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey, here once again with another video on Superman and Lois Season 3. So while we've gotten a release date and, some finer, synopsis details and stuff about the upcoming ninth and final season of The Flash, we're still waiting, I guess somewhat patiently, on anything official from the CW on Superman and Lois's upcoming third, and I guess hopefully not final season. Now, hopefully we aren't waiting too much longer for that to come out, but there are some things we already knew about this season heading into it, such as like the Jonathan Kent recasting, as well as the villainous threats of Season 3, those being Bruno Manheim and Intergang, even though technically I guess they're one thing, I don't know. But there has been just like limited stuff seen on set, just due to how Superman and Lois, runs and how it's made and everything. It's a bit disconnected from like where most people live and where like the other shows are filmed in the past. So there isn't much to grab from that, but there are still things going on that tend to reveal certain information, and that in this case is words. We speak them, and that's what the actor who will be playing Bruno Manheim in season 3 of Superman and Lois did. He spoke. So Chad L. Coleman, who previously played Tobias Church within the Arrowverse back in season 5 of Arrow before being slaughtered by Prometheus, well, he is rejoining the Greg Berlanti CW DC universe in the role of Bruno Manheim, who will have, I guess, a few personal ties based off various setup from previous events, both in the show, like we saw with that conversation in the diner between Diggle and John Henry Irons at the end of season 2, and other canon-based stories like the Earth Prime comic series, where we had Lois Lane involved with Bruno Manheim in the past. But Chad was talking to Horror Geek Life, that was, I guess, the website or podcast or just the overall source, and he not only, I guess, confirmed he was cast in the role, though that was already done a while ago, but I think he said that I guess is like the official him speaking confirmation, I guess, I don't know. But this is what he had to say about his upcoming take on the role of Bruno Manheim in season 3 of Superman and Lois. I have this hat on for Superman and Lois, which I'm incredibly excited about. This role encompasses everything I've ever done, and as superficial as it sounds, he's the richest and most powerful dude I've ever played. It's an amazing cast and showrunners. I mean, this is Greg Berlanti Productions giving me a plate full of delicious food. I'd done Arrow with him and also All American, so for him to serve this up, man, I'm excited. Now, my initial thoughts on this, like I thought when reading the first sentence that it was funny to be incredibly excited about wearing a hat, but I guess he was just like referencing the actual role that he was playing and all of that. I think it was just laid out in a odd and a bit different way. But I do love the fact that he is making it pretty damn clear that Bruno Manheim is not only rich, so he has resources of his own. Money is power in a sense, but you still got to have some influence, with the way you present yourself. But he's also saying that he is powerful as well. So he's not only just some, you could be some like scrawny little dude who's a billionaire, and you might be able to control some people, but some people will just see you as a scrawny little dude who can be easily influenced as well. So you're not the influential one. People might be able to influence you and take control of your money. But Bruno Manheim's like, no, I'm the powerful one with the money. Now, I think one thing that Bruno Manheim needs is that influence and just borderline control of sorts, or not just like random goons and stuff that can do stuff for him, like I guess would be members of Intergang, but also influence and control of sorts on other powerful figures within society, or more specifically Metropolis, I guess. In the Earth Prime comic series, which was written by Superman and Lois writers and supposed to be canon to the show, we saw Bruno Manheim there in the past. I think it was before the twins were born, I think. So I guess like 15 years in the past or something. I'm not too sure. But in that past event, whenever it was, we saw Bruno Manheim influencing the then mayor of Metropolis. I don't know if that person would still be mayor. I'm not too sure. And for anyone that's not American that's going, it's Mayor Pagey. I know, but it's based in America, so it's mayor. I'm not going to say mayor. But I don't think Bruno would stop with just that one mayor being under his thumb. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if he even has some sort of influence on government officials, maybe even some people affiliated with the DEO or something. But even if the mayor had changed, I'm sure he would just like go to the next one and go to the next one. Or maybe he would even be able to pick the mayor potentially, or influence who is picked, stuff like that. Now, whether they set it up where Intergang has been around for a while and has had various leaders like it has in the comics that then leads to Bruno Manheim taking over, that's another thing. Or they could just make it that Bruno set it all up, so he's the founder and now leader of Intergang. Or maybe they just have that there was one previous leader before Bruno, that being Bruno's father, who in the comics was the founder of Intergang before being imprisoned, which led to Bruno taking over. So maybe they could tie his father's downfall to Superman, potentially make it a bit personal there. Not sure which way they'll go about it, because we know that they're probably going to tie some, journalistic stuff and personal stuff to Lois, which I guess would also include Clark, because they've set him up at the end of season 2 to like step back into his journalist lifestyle or journalist job and stuff like that. So there could be a different kind of connections or multiple connections between Bruno Manheim in the upcoming season, both on the superhero side and the journalistic side. But I am very excited to see this take on Bruno Manheim within the world of Superman and Lois, just because I think you could do something pretty damn interesting and cool with it. Now, one question heading into the newest season of Superman and Lois is the evolution of Superboy, or more specifically Jordan Kent. Now, we're not too sure exactly where they're going to go. Like, he helped out a lot last season with his powers, so you have to think there's going to have to be a decent evolution to the point where maybe he can go out on his own specifically and help, just like Superman has, but maybe not to the biggest degree. Like, he's not going to go fly into space and deal with an alien. Like, that can be Superman's job. But Todd Helbing did address some stuff in regards to Superboy, and mainly his aesthetics next year or next season. I think for right now, the hoodie, like, that's what Superboy is going to wear. At some point, he's going to be called Superboy. At some point, he's going to get a haircut. We'll find the most organic way, or what we feel like is the best way to have these steps happen. But I would be shocked if you watch the premiere of season 3 and he's in an outfit with a haircut and is Superboy. Like, I mean, I would be surprised if that happened. Like, he showed up and was fully decked out with a Superboy suit, new hairdo, new attitude. I'd be surprised if that happened. I think playing it in like an organic way is the best way to go about it, and TV allows you to do that. Like, if it was a movie and we're stepping into like not Superman and Lois season 3, but like the sequel to a Superman and Lois movie, okay, you could understand that they would take that jump and he would be in a suit and look different and have advanced a bit since the last time we saw him. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think playing it organic and just going, you have all those episodes to do it. But I'd say at some point this season, they might jump to that point, especially if they feel that season 3 might be their final season. They might go, okay, we were maybe going to leave this to like a season 4, but it's not too much of an issue if we do it in season 3. So maybe in the back half of season 3, he gets a Superboy suit. I'm not too sure. In regards to what the Superboy suit would look like, I mean, the one in the comics just looks like a Superman suit, but just with like some different, like the red and blue is placed in different areas. So maybe, I don't know if you could just reverse you can reverse the colors, because then it look like Mon-El's suit. So I don't know what you'd do, but I mean, you got the comics to reference, so yeah. But the last thing I wanted to bring up for this video was the news that came out about like 2 or 3 weeks back, which people were trying to like connect to Superman and Lois, and maybe even some other DC TV shows as well. But I was sort of looking for the right video to bring it up in, as it's not the most time-worthy news piece, so why not do it now? But it came out recently that Amazon is looking to strike a deal with Warner Brothers TV for DC-related content, with the focus to be on animation, though other forms, as in live action, weren't specifically ruled out. Now, this led to people wondering whether if live action was to be tapped into, what would they be looking at? Would they be looking at like completely new shows, or were they looking at just, transferring shows, if that makes sense? And immediately people jumped to current shows being rescued by Amazon, shows such as like Superman and Lois, or even like a Stargirl, even like Titans and Doom Patrol on HBO Max, stuff like that. But the way that I read this news, because it wasn't like this massive descriptive piece, it was just a couple of lines from an interview, and the way I read the news is that the content would still air on HBO Max. Like, that's how it was worded, unless it was another interview that came out that dived into it more specifically, but I couldn't find it. But Amazon Studios would be the production company with it, just like how Titans and Doom Patrol are Berlanti Productions. Now, I might be wrong, but that was how the initial news read, because it's important to remember David Zaslav has said he doesn't want to be selling off content to air first somewhere else like Amazon and Netflix. Like, he'd be fine something that's ended or it's been cancelled and then getting rid of it and might be sold off elsewhere or whatever it might be, but he doesn't want to do that. Like, he had a big blow up about The Sandman, on Netflix, and that being renewed because it was such a big hit. And he's like, well, why isn't this on our streaming service? But then again, he hasn't been the biggest supporter of animation since he took over Warner Brothers. So this is probably a wait and see in regards to all of this stuff. The initial news, as I said, didn't dive too deep into the finer details of it. Just gave like a broad idea of what was being planned out. So it's a wait and see situation. I wouldn't jump to any conclusions yet, because nothing might happen, especially with all the changes at Warner Brothers. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, it'd be awesome if you could drop a like on it to show support. Let me know in the comments section down below your various opinions on all the stuff we went over. Thoughts on the Superman and Lois stuff. Are you looking forward to this take on Bruno Manheim? Are you excited to see Tyrese from The Walking Dead and I guess Tobias Church from Arrow in the role? Should be interesting. Should be interesting. But yeah, let me know your thoughts down there in the comments. And of course, if you are new to the channel, want to subscribe, feel free to subscribe. And I'll catch you guys later. Goodbye.